We were at a Business World 40 above, fittest above 40, and I did a session. We had influencers in fitness, health, celebrities. So with Yasmin Karachiwala, I did a standing session. She said, sitting is the new smoking, and you should get up and walk very often. So ideally, if we'd known that you are coming, I'm sure Bilkis knew. Mr. Venkatesh could have mentored because, he would know their journeys more deeply, and I have a little outside view. He would have an inside view, but I'm sure we can bring him in the conversation. The reason Bilkis put this together is to be able to showcase all of you. You are future CEOs. Why just CHROs? And my favorite theme is how many CHROs go on to become CEOs? Why should you just be a CHRO? At the end of the day, as he said in his last, Mr. S. Venkatesh, who's a former CHRO of the RPG group, he said, and he's written a book on Kalki, and he said that we are business partners. I know that's a term you often, it sounds like cliche, but yes, HR is a business partner. So let me first go around the table and ask each one of you to make a comment about yourself. What makes you interesting? What makes you interesting?
Sure, thank you so much. And I'm really sorry for my sore throat. It's a proof that whatever you're hearing and reading about Delhi pollution, it's absolutely right. And it's real. But thank you for this question, that what makes me interesting. I think it's the passion that I bring to the table for the work I do. I genuinely love my work. And I genuinely believe in loving my work as well, in loving your work as well. So I think passion for doing the work that I'm doing is something that I bring to the table, and that makes me interesting.
No, I'm sure all of you are passionate. That's a given. Being passionate is given. You can't do well at anything if you're not passionate. I spoke to you in the afternoon. I'm doing this. I don't have my phone. I have not slept a wink in the night, which is not me at all. But I'm sitting here because, I'm all in. But what's interesting about you? Passion is a given, sir. Without passion, you cannot just, you can't be, what is the dosa wala? Umesh Dosa Point. He's very passionate about making dosas, right? So passion is a given. Beyond that, give us some interesting thing. Ashwin, I live in Delhi, but I'm coming from Bombay, and I know the Delhi pollution is real, and that's not. But give us something more interesting about it.
More interesting about me would be, so I am an engineer by my graduation. I'm a mechanical engineer, and I was the only girl in my class, and in the batch of 102, 103 men. I faced a lot of stereotypes, a lot of challenges, but I think I never backed down, no matter what happened, and I kind of used that opportunity, those experiences, to today build and be in a profession that build inclusive cultures and inclusive spaces for others. So I think that has been my shift, my journey of being one of them to now creating spaces wherein nobody else has to go through that similar experience, or trying to know so that nobody goes through that experience. I think that is one interesting thing about me from the list of others as well.
I'll tell you one thing. The most interesting thing about me is I don't use a hair dryer. So I want things like that. It's not, you're saying, what you're saying is right, and I'm sure, I went to an engineering school too, and maybe we had 20 in a batch of 120, not too many women, but yeah, I understand, it can be challenging, too much attention, right? And so on and so forth. So I don't know if it's good or challenging, but I want interesting, panels get very boring sometimes. Let's see, Karthik, what, your name is Prasoon. Yeah, your name is Anish.
I can wait for Prasoon to
No, you can. If we give you $2 million, you can change your name. If somebody, sometimes people come up to me and say, are you this person? So I tell them, if you give me $5 million, no problem, I'll be that person. But Anish, apologies, and tell us what's most interesting about you.
Thank you, sir. I'm Anish Kumar. The most interesting thing that I could think of myself is, I did my BBA in a college called Madras Christian College, and they have a humongous college union society set up where they have elections and you have to stand, you have to campaign. So very interestingly, I went up to my parents and I said, hey, I'm very interested in standing for a college union post, and apparently I'll have to spend money on buying beer and biryani. So could you sponsor? And my parents said, no way. That's not what you're going to get into. Figure a way out. Try and see how you can still win it without doing all of that jazz. So I thought through, and then I realized one of the best ways of coming first is when you have no competition, right? So
like it's happening in Bihar.
Exactly.
Right now, you know, candidates are giving up there.
Which coincidentally I took a page out of that book, and about 17, 18 years ago, I convinced all my opponents that it is better for them not to stand for the election and to let me stand for it.
Are you married?
Not yet.
Oh, no wonder. Okay, very good. Okay, good. That's at least a good start, Anish. By the way, I stood for elections. I'm from the first batch of MBA from MDI, 94-96 batch. I also served on the board of MDI, also chairman of the MDI alumni. And I, on the spur of the moment, I stood for election. I lost by 1 vote, 28-29. And I still remember it. And Girish is a friend of mine, but it stays on the back of my mind that I lost to him. I mean, it's not bad, but it stays back of mind. You know, I've done okay in life, so I have nothing to complain. But yeah.
Now your story seems more interesting.
No, I don't know. I have very interesting stories, but you have to know me. I can't tell you on stage. Sure. When this panel is about you, not me. You're Naina, right? I met you in the morning, yes.
Yes. Yeah, so...
You're with Diageo, and yes, I said to you, why did you let go my friend Karthik? He said he'll come back. Yes. I said maybe he'll come back as the CEO of Pernod Ricard.
Oh, no, no. I meant next year maybe he'll come back. Let's see.
Why? You think he can't be CEO? Never say never.
Of course.
I'll tell Neha said no. No.
Of course
he's not French, maybe that's why.
He can be anything he wants to be.
Yes. I'm not trying to get you into trouble. No. So, yeah, Naina, what's interesting about you?
One point that I can think of is, I remember, sir, you spoke about how important it is to have a hobby alongside your career. So I'm a classical Bharatnatyam dancer. And honestly speaking, taking up a career in HR was pretty last minute.
It's similar to Bharatnatyam dancer.
No.
What are the similarities between Bharatnatyam dance and HR? Any similarity?
You do it for the people.
Wow.
Yeah, you dance for your audience, you do HR for the people. So yes.
You make it fun, otherwise, you know, HR के panel discussions बहुत होते हैं और वही सब बातें होती हैं, which is okay. But good, Neha. Thank you for being a Naina. Thank you for being a sport. And you're in an industry which is a, you know, alco-bev industry. Again, there are stereotypes in that industry. What is your view on consumption of alcohol?
So Diageo promotes responsible drinking, right? So we always say, don't drink more, drink better.
What does that mean?
Probably instead of, buying 2 bottles of a red label, buy a double black.
I like that. So please give her a big round of applause. Yeah. They should make you the head of sales or head of marketing, right?
So yes, don't drink more, drink better. Premiumization is also a strategy that Diageo is running. And responsible drinking, of course. Enjoy and celebrate, but be responsible about it.
Lovely. Yeah. Thank you for handling the question so well, and I understand your position in the company. I have lots of friends in your company, so I'll not give you all the names, but lots of them. Remaining in senior positions, we'll come to you. I'm trying to get to know everyone's name. Your Sulagna or Kartika?
No, I am Kartika Nair. My name you can't find here.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we got you. You paid us last minute, right?
Yes. When I got into the field, I understood it's not at all about glitz and glamour. It's all about...
Which college did you go to?
ICFI Business School.
Hyderabad campus.
Hyderabad campus. So in fact, there was a point when my finance professor discouraged me. Why do you want to take up HR? Are you going to do DJ parties? Are you going to do, organize this fun events? Because that was the perception about HR many years back when I joined the business schools and when I started my HR profession. It's come a long way, and 16 years into my career, I understood
What's interesting about you?
cleaning my home is like a therapy for me. If I don't clean my premises, I can't work.
Good. Ms. Panigrahi, you're the senior manager HR at Redbus, which is part of Go MMT. Again, I have lots of MDites there. Rishi Raj Singh.
Okay.
And me and Deep worked together. He was my client, and then for 1 year was my boss anyway.
Oh, lovely. Okay. One interesting thing about me. So I love structured approach to any problem, be at work or be at home. But when it comes to travel, I'm in a constant paradox because I have two theories. I have spontaneity. I don't want to know where I'm going. Just take your bag and just go somewhere. But I also want to kind of structurally plan, put a budget. That's where my...
And you mean leisure travel when you're doing it for family. You don't mean business travel, clearly,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. So that's where my brain
Or I was
stops
thinking every day
functioning.
he decides, which city I want to go to. Is there an HR office there? But I'm just kidding.
I can probably think of multiple ways to solve a problem, but when it comes to picking up a place or going or how to plan the travel, I have these both personalities kick in.
Brilliant. Thank you for making it a little bit interesting. But let me ask you, what has been your one defining moment at work where you really feel you made a very real and deep impact? You know, we'll start with you, Ms. Panigrahi, and then go around the corner. Something in your career of 15 years plus, what stands out? It's something you really feel you're very proud you were able to, help somebody, or you bet on somebody who really did well. I don't know, whatever that is.
Okay, very hard to choose one.
Take two.
No, I'll stick to one, sir. Let's not be greedy. But then I think one of the most, a moment that I truly enjoyed was curating an entire talent development journey for our mid-senior leaders. And it was extremely fulfilling for me because I took a lot of time understanding their developmental needs, the organization needs, what the function wants. And I think overall, just the entire journey of curating those workshops, listening to their testimony, going through their projects, it was the most fulfilling, I think, assignment for me. And yeah, overall...
And did you use any of Ms. Rao's brands before the session or after the session? Did you use any of, in those testimonies, before they gave the testimonies, or did they use Ms. Rao's brands, any of the brands? No. Okay, it was before that. Okay, Ms. Nair, on a serious note, tell me something which stands out in your career where you felt what you do is really meaningful and it makes an impact. I'm sure you feel it every day when you solve a problem or you're able to help somebody realize their potential, but something that stands out in your journey.
Yeah, so I specifically work in the talent management, learning and development space. So it's all about career success stories. We daily talk about how certifications and training programs impact people, not just their careers, but skills learned for a lifetime. So those are the daily stories that we get to hear. So something that was very gratifying for me as an L&D professional was what was pushed back by a stakeholder, a very senior stakeholder, was eventually accepted. All that we had to do was co-design the solution with the stakeholder. Initially, it was met with skepticism, but the moment we included them, co-facilitated, and articulated the potential benefits, it's a very recent incident that I can
Thank you, Ms. Nair.
Yeah.
Ms. Rao?
Yeah, so I've had a very short career. So I'm exactly 2 years, 4 months into my corporate career. So pretty much every phase has been defining for me. I was associated with Diageo first as a summer intern, then as a management trainee, and then as a manager and a senior manager. So every shift has been career defining for me. But if I have to choose a single project or a single metric that I can say impacted business the most. So in July 2024, when I took on my first role as the HRBP for manufacturing, our women representation was at 10%. And October 31st, it stands at a 28%.
Brilliant.
So
that's tangible benefit, and I'm sure you and other stakeholders are collectively responsible for it.
yes, absolutely.
Good. Anish?
One thing that comes to mind straight off the bat is this was during the COVID time. I was associated with PayPal then. PayPal, for those of you who don't know, it's a digital payments business. We have their GCC based out of Bangalore. And on May 1st, which is Labor Day, PayPal saw its highest transactions on a single day ever. For
This year, last year?
In 2020.
2025,
5 years ago. That's when the COVID broke out. And March, we had gone into our lockdowns, and May 1st, this comes about. All our business metrics, average pay per user, number of users that use the platform, number of transactions that happened over the course of the last 2 months, all of them skyrocketed. All of them went about 33% upwards. What it meant for us is that the goals that we had as a company for the next 2 years, we had already achieved it through our metrics. So this is when our CEO stepped in and said, let's use the tailwind and let's aggregate our growth and let's go about hiring next 2,000 people. So my hiring target and my boss's hiring target was to hire 2,000 people in 6 months. So this meant re-looking at the way we've been playing the entire recruiting game, completely sidelining it and having a fresh approach, because typically we would hire about 500 to 600 per year, and now we have to hire 2,000 in 6 months. So give us a lot of opportunity to think differently, to reimagine all our recruiting systems, processes. We had an opportunity of hiring about 21 recruiters. At that point in time, a lot of companies were laying off recruiters because they were not very clear about their hiring strategy, but PayPal was on the other side of the fence, and we were able to hire some really smart people, change the way we hired, and I think we went on to hire close to about 2,200 people in about 8 months' time frame. So I thought that stands out as a defining moment for me.
Fantastic. And Ms. Kaur?
Sure. So I joined Schneider Electric in 2022, June 2022, and I think the moment I stepped into the organization, it was June. You expect, the Pride Month to be at its full swing, and celebrations. I saw that there weren't any conversations that were happening. And then again, when I spent some time in the organization, I realized that yes, the conversations on inclusion were there, but they were very specific to gender. They were focused on gender, and that was the need of the hour at that time as well. So I think the focus was to go beyond gender and have more conversations, build culture, ecosystem, infrastructure, and the entire culture shift as well. So having said that, while we did a lot of strides in the space of persons with disabilities, veterans, women, and the representation numbers are really good there as well. But I think the defining moment for me was specifically in the space of LGBTQI professionals, from having no conversations while the policies existed, the infrastructure existed, but the culture was missing. So that's where I brought in the expertise of, being myself trained on the LGBTQI, the culture, the sensitization. We drove that culture, coached our leaders, and in 2025, after efforts of 2.5 years, we successfully onboarded 2 transgenders, and we had 2 employees coming out to the larger organization, and now we have established employee resource networks as well. So all this shift from hardly any conversation or zero conversation, while the policies and the infrastructure is in place, to now having seen that shift in the culture was a defining moment for me. And those people from the community walking up and saying that we have been working here for years, but this was the first time we felt heard, seen, and validated, and found a platform to actually come out. So I think that was the defining moment for me.
Brilliant. I think all of you given very tangible initiatives that saw the light of the day, and they were fresh and new. Now let me ask, I want a very honest answer. Do not give me cliched answer. What's one thing about the HR function you'd like to change? Apart from your boss. Anish or Miss Kaur?
I think I can be a little honest here and
You can be fully
completely honest and
When
candid.
I do interviews, people tell me, sir, can I be honest with you? I said, like, you're normally dishonest.
So I'll be completely candid. I think at 2 points, and I think with AI being one of the most common topic discussed, with AI coming in, there are transactional works that are being getting off the plate from the HR fraternity. So I think that's something which, with time, would eventually be taken care of. But that is one thing I want to change about the HR, and that's one. Second is, I think, being the bad cop at all
Yeah, you
places.
have to break the back.
Yeah, so I think I really
Robots. Go to though the Canton Fair is finishing today, but you still order robots from there and they can do it for you. HR robots.
yeah. So I
And
think
I am available. I am a botra. Bot and batra. Botra.
yeah.
But I understand. On a serious
Yeah.
note, I understand that sometimes you have to, the tough calls that the organization takes, you have to go and communicate that and implement that and be the first point of breaking the news, so to say.
Yeah.
So I understand it's a tough conversation.
So I think that is fine for me. What irritates me is at times the inability of the leaders and managers to handle those conversations which are probably their responsibility. For example, okay, why am I not getting promoted? Okay, why don't I have a clear career journey? So as a manager of an employee, as HR, I am there. I will provide you with the frameworks, with with how organization is functioning and everything. But as a manager, you are responsible for the teams that you're
fair
working
point.
with.
Understood.
So that's where my irritability comes.
I want to find this particular group of people who make memes that HR organizes Rangoli competitions, celebrates birthdays. I genuinely want to find them and beat them up. If
you shouldn't be celebrating people's birthdays. I ask everyone I meet when's their birthday. You're saying we shouldn't be celebrating birthdays? But I know.
the fact that the HR is only responsible to do that.
No, of course.
Yeah, genuinely, and I'm a big Insta fan, so I see a lot of these memes and reels, which is always comes to mind. I think today where we've
You should
evolved,
just do beer parties. You don't need to do anything else. Right? Whatever you drink. I don't drink.
I'm open to taking that blame,
Okay.
but not Rangoli and birthday celebrations that way. But on a serious note, I think today HR has evolved as a business enabler and not a business support function. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes in partnership with business. Today, a HR leader has to think like a business leader. And that's when they will be able to add more value and also show employee value proposition to people that we're looking to bring into the company.
That train has left the station for many years. HR leaders are, but you're saying it's getting more accentuated and more visible, right? Is that what you're saying?
Right.
That's what you'd like to say, that it should be more visible impact of HR leader on the business. Fair enough.
Agreed.
Naina?
Yes, so continuing on what she said, I think HR BPs at this point spend a lot of time being the agony aunt, right? And that's happening because line managers aren't able to effectively have those critical conversations. So that is something that I would like to change. Enable line managers to have those conversations. Of course, HR is always there to help them deliver the hard news or the good news also. But I think the responsibility of that should lie with them, with HR as the enabler and the facilitator.
Ms. Nair?
Yes, for me, this tendency sometimes of business to approach HR as the solution finder for everything. It could be a business problem, but yeah, go to the HR. They have to fix it for us when actually it is not even something that we have a purview or remit to. So I think that's a little
Well,
disgusting.
can I give you a counter view to it? If you solve problems, whether in a personal life, in professional life, you become valuable and you become a leader. And I'm not saying in a cliched way. So if you are able to solve something, then you automatically become a business person. No? You become more valuable.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
in that sense, it should be welcome, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people come to me for advice, like their CMOs, because I was lucky enough to build India's #1 CMO community, Exchange for Media. And I tell them, take on a business sales role. Chota sa bhi, take on some responsibility, because take a revenue role. Because if you take that, then you have a shot at being a business officer, a CEO, CEO, So similarly, if you take something on which is outside your comfort zone, possibly it will help you grow, right?
Yeah. I think for me, when leaders or people try to front-end HR for all emotionally charged conversations, sometimes it's just a performance discussion, and it's not to a stage where, you know, an HR needs to be stepping in, but assuming every emotionally charged conversation needs to be co-facilitated with HR.
I understand. I'm a boss. I know what you're saying. I understand. But, okay. Now let me ask you, and you have to be absolutely authentic. What is your ambition? Next 3, 5, 7 years. I'm not, you know, in the absolute near term. What's your ambition? What would you be like to be as a professional?
I think as a professional, I would love to be seen as a leader in whichever field of HR or business I am in, who is, you know, apart from my, you know, titles and designations, who is empathetic and has a life beyond work. So I think my ambition professionally and personally is on those lines, and I think that's what I would like to say. Because I think the times are evolving. I don't know whether the executive positions, how they're going to evolve and how they're going to change, but for me, it's very much that I would be leading a particular function or business wherever I go. But apart from that, the personalities of an empathetic leader, along with that I have a life beyond work, and I keep saying that I want to keep dancing till I'm in my 80s, and that's going to be my personal ambition as well.
There you go. Anish?
Sir, so 2025 I hit BW People top 40 under 40. Maybe in the years to come, hit CHR of the year in the same platform. That would be my ambition.
By the way, I started a podcast, I talked about it in the morning, called The Dropout. Again, serendipitously, मैं बहुत ज़्यादा तैयारी से कुछ भी नहीं करता हूँ, right? I mean, in my mind, I'm preparing, but you know, it's 15-minute preparation. It's with a guy called Vedant Lamba, Anil Lamba's son. I don't know if you know Anil Lamba from Pune. And then I just recorded a second, which will go live in 2 days, which is with a guy called Krish Anurag. He's 19. I think Vedant is 24. And I was joking with him and his friend who's 22. I have a 21-year-old daughter. So they're my daughter's age. And I was saying, I want my podcast should be so popular that people should drop out of college just to be on my podcast or school. So you're talking like that, but I'm sure you'll be CHRO of the year, Naina.
Very cliche, but I've always wanted to be a CEO, and I think that ambition will continue. But at the same time, I do understand that at such senior level, stakes are very high. So another thing that I want to keep at the core of it is to continue enjoying and having fun at work.
Fantastic. Ms. Nair?
Another 5 to 6 years, definitely I'd want to head the learning function, but more importantly, I want to be known as somebody, Kartika, who has lifted others as she climbed up, right?
Sure.
So that's a very important part of my identity.
Yeah, in next 5, 6 years, I'd like to be at an intersection where I'm able to converse with technology, business, and people. That's my professional ambition. I don't know how that comes in terms to role and designation. And personally, I just want to be closer to family and more fitter every year.
That's a good goal to be up. You should apply for 40, above 40 when you get there, not now. But yes, that's my ambition. I want to win my own award. I mean, not the award, but I want to be able to qualify. My last question before I want to keep to the time. Give me your role models, both within the organization and outside the organization, and why. We start with you.
I think within my organization would be my manager who heads HR, which is Prabhanjan. I find him at the perfect balance of the same, technology, people, and businesses. I see him carrying that balance with so much of grace. I aim to be at that level.
Good. I'm glad you like your boss.
I do.
Yeah, because, you know, half of the time, I mean, my boss is toxic. First of all, I hate the word toxic. I don't know who invented it. You know, you see people as you are, right? And give me a role model outside. If you said Elon Musk, I'm, you know, we may take the award back, huh? So don't say Elon Musk. Anybody apart from Elon Musk.
I think it has to be my mother. She's been a working woman. I've seen her as a superwoman. She works, she cooks, she's there for her family. In fact, I'm sure she's watching me live right now from Mumbai. So yeah, she's my role model.
Are superhuman, yes.
I have two solid role models. One is Indra Nooyi from the ex-CEO of PepsiCo and Leena Nair, CEO of Chanel.
Have you met them?
Not yet. I hope to meet them. So yeah.
I have done a con on her. I was the first person to do Indra Nooyi's interview and her book came out. So anyway.
Yeah.
And within your organization?
All of my tough bosses, I would say.
All
my tough bosses.
One person. Two, okay.
Okay, so that was one of my ex-bosses who gave me very tough times and enabled me to step out of my comfort zones and do multiple iterations. Was never satisfied with anything that I did.
Sure.
I think that he's my role model. And okay. I definitely, the technique works on my team.
Naina?
So inside the organization, again, it would be my manager and my CHRO, both of them. I think if I'm able to sit here and speak and be a recipient of the Under 30 award, it's because of the trust and the support that they have given me. Outside of the organization, it would be my parents, both my mother and my father. I learn a lot of my professional skills from him, and I learn a lot of my personal skills from my mother, so it would be both of them.
Fantastic.
Two people. One is Mr. Simon Avinash. He's my super boss. Somebody who taught me that you can have high performance and have fun together. The second person is Arundhati ma'am, Arundhati Bhattacharya, who is the CEO of Salesforce. Extremely effervescent, energetic, super motivator. If you hear her talk, you can sense that energy and vibe from her. I will also include my mom and dad because they're also watching. I hope they don't complain.
Miss Kaur.
Okay.
Thank God you're not married, huh? Just because my wife is watching, I would like to dedicate this award. Somebody else is watching, I'd also like to dedicate it to them. But anyway,
Sir, I do have a partner. Don't put me in trouble.
Okay, so I think within the organization, it would be one of the leaders who hired me in Schneider Electric, Shikha Gupta. She currently is the CHRO for Luminous, which is again a Schneider-acquired entity. I think the kind of trust, empowerment, and confidence she showed in me, I don't think so in my 8 years of journey, I had that much of confidence coming from someone. And because she believed in me, sometimes I felt like that I was told to lead something, and I realized that, okay, I kind of self-doubted myself, but she never, ever did that. And I think I would want to be someone like her, when I said, that you are leading, you're heading a function, but you still have a work life beyond your work, the way she set her boundaries, the way she leads the team, it's beautiful, and that's something which really inspired me, and she has been my role model as well. And personally, I think, it's very hard to put, but I'll try my best. I think one is my father for all the, I'm
very happy fathers are getting recognized.
Yeah.
Normally it's the mothers, they hog all the things, okay?
No, I think my father, actually introduced the concept of role modeling very early on in my life, wherein he was working with PepsiCo for 27 years. He worked there, and he kind of introduced me.
What's his first name?
Jasdeep Singh Ahuja. So he worked there, and so that's where, he introduced me to the corporate world very early on and the dynamics that are involved. But again, he still managed to have fun and managed to take care of his family, provide for his family while being an excellent person that he is. And, and one more role model, if I can name, that would be my mother-in-law. I think after marriage, at times your in-laws become a lot of barrier in your career journey and success journey. There's a lot of travel involved, there's a lot of work involved, there's a lot of effort.
Anish is smiling.
Yeah.
No, You have a good smile, that's what I mean.
क्योंकि सास भी कभी बहुत ही came in my mind.
No, but she actually did not have all those privileges with her.
Sure.
But she
No,
ensured that
in-laws are very important.
Yeah, but she ensured that we are getting those, and we don't stop just because we are women in the house,
Sure.
and we have equivalent, say in the family. So I think she deserves the credit, and she's my role
Mr. Venkatesh,
role
I'll
model.
tell you a funny story. I'm listening to them. I'm a boss, and I'm a unique person. I like myself, okay? I know what I do right. I'm very harsh on myself. I may not. Yesterday, I was in Bombay. I went to Piyush Pandey's prayer meet. And of course, with all humility, in that community, I know 100% of the community. I think apart from the host, I would be among a few people who maybe knew all 500 people in the room. If not all 5, I would knew 450, right? And of course, Piyush was a giant in his work, but the way people talked about him. And I said, I was listening, and I always say, I mean, write your legacy down. What do you want to be known for? I mean, it's not narcissistic that but ultimately, money is not the most important thing. It's how you make people feel, and you can have tough love with them sometimes. When it comes to work, sometimes all of us can be relaxed. So you have to have tough love, so to say. You have to have empathy at the same time, tough love at the same time. And sometimes you also have to nurture them beyond their comfort zone. So all that, I thought of a lot. I can't tell you all of it. But you've been a great panel. Please give our panel a very large applause for being sporty, honest, authentic. And I'm sure more and more CHROs will become CEOs. Stay in the present, do your current job. If you do your current job well, I'm sure much more will happen.